What do you do when the person you love most turns their back on you, leaving your heart in pieces? In a small, crowded apartment, Blessing sat on a creaky chair, staring at a photo of her and John smiling on their wedding day. Her warm brown eyes, large and round, shimmered with tears. She was 30, with deep ebony skin that glowed softly in the dim light, her dark brown hair tied in a simple braided bun. Her curvy frame slumped in her worn light blue dress, the beige cardigan slipping off one shoulder. She looked tired, broken. Outside, the city buzzed with noise, but inside, it felt like the world had gone silent. John burst through the door, his 6-foot athletic frame filling the tiny room. His medium brown skin glistened with sweat, his dark brown almond-shaped eyes flashing with anger. His short, neatly cropped black hair was perfect, as always, matching his navy blue blazer and polished black shoes. At 32, he carried himself like a man chasing a dream bigger than their small life. "Blessing, we need to talk," he said, his voice sharp, like a knife cutting through the quiet. Blessing's heart raced. She knew that tone. It wasn't the soft voice of the man who once promised to love her forever. "What's wrong, John?" she asked, her soft full lips trembling. Her high cheekbones caught the light as she stood, clutching the photo tighter. John paced, his polished shoes clicking on the warm floor. "This life, it's not enough. I'm tired of struggling. My friends laugh at me, Blessing. They say I married a poor woman who can't give me anything." His words stung like a slap. Blessing's breath caught in her throat. She wanted to scream, to tell him she was trying, but the words wouldn't come. "You think I don't want more?" she whispered, her voice cracking. "I work hard every day, John. For us." Her large eyes searched his face, hoping to find the man she fell in love with, the one who used to hold her hand and dream of a simple, happy life. But John's jaw tightened, his strong features hardening. "It's not enough," he snapped. "I want a big house, a fancy car, a life people respect. You're holding me back." He stopped pacing and stared at her, his eyes cold. "I'm leaving, Blessing. I can't do this anymore." The room spun. Blessing's legs wobbled, and she sank back into the chair. Her heart pounded like a drum in her chest, each beat screaming, "No, this can't be happening." "John, please," she begged, tears spilling down her cheeks. "We can fix this. We can work together." He shook his head, his clean-shaven face showing no trace of the love they once shared. "I'm done," he said, grabbing a suitcase from the corner. He stuffed it with clothes, not even looking at her. The sound of the zipper closing felt like a door slamming on her heart. Blessing stood, her curvy frame shaking. "What about us? What about our promises?" she cried, stepping closer. Her voice was desperate, raw, like a wounded animal. She reached for his arm, but he pulled away, his blazer brushing against her fingers. "Don't make this harder," John said, his voice low but cruel. "You'll be fine. You always are." He turned toward the door, his tall figure casting a shadow over her. The photo slipped from Blessing's hands, hitting the floor with a soft thud. Their smiling faces stared up at her, mocking her pain. "Where will you go?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. She felt small, like she was shrinking under the weight of his words. John paused, his hand on the doorknob. "Somewhere I can be somebody," he said without turning back. "Somewhere I won't be laughed at." Then he walked out, the door slamming shut behind him. Blessing stood frozen, the silence deafening. Her chest heaved as sobs broke free. She sank to the floor, her light blue dress pulling around her, the beige cardigan slipping off completely. The city's noise crept back in car horns, distant shouts, but it couldn't drown out the ache in her soul. She picked up the photo, her fingers tracing John's face. How could he leave her like this? How could he throw away their love for money and status? Outside, John strode down the street, his polished shoes gleaming under the streetlights. His heart raced, not with guilt, but with a strange excitement. He was free. Free to chase the life he always wanted. His friends' voices echoed in his mind, their laughter ringing in his ears. "You married a nobody, John. You could do better." He clenched his fist, his athletic build tense with determination. He'd show them. He'd show everyone. Back in the apartment, Blessing curled up on the floor, clutching the photo to her chest. Her warm brown eyes stared into the distance, searching for answers that weren't there. She felt like a tree stripped of its leaves, bare and exposed. But deep inside, something flickered, a tiny spark of strength. She didn't know it yet, but that spark would grow, would burn brighter than she could imagine. For now, though, she was alone, her heart shattered, her dreams in pieces. The night stretched on, the city alive outside her window. Blessing's tears slowed, but the pain didn't. She wondered what she'd done wrong, why she wasn't enough. The question swirled in her mind, heavy and dark, pulling her into a place where hope felt far away. But somewhere, deep in her subconscious, a voice whispered, "This isn't the end. This is just the beginning." Would Blessing find a way to rise from this heartbreak? Could she rebuild her life after being abandoned so cruelly? And what would happen when John, chasing his dreams of wealth, faced the consequences of his choice? The answers lay ahead, hidden in the shadows of a future neither could predict. Years had passed since John walked out on Blessing. He was now 38, taller and stronger, with his black hair still short and neat, but a few grey strands showing from all the stress. His medium brown skin glowed under the city lights, and his dark brown eyes sparkled with a new fire. John had changed. He wasn't the frustrated man chasing dreams anymore. No, he had caught them, or so he thought. At first, life after the divorce was hard. John moved to a big city, sleeping on a friend's couch, eating cheap noodles every night. He worked odd jobs, fixing cars or delivering packages, his athletic body aching from long hours. "This isn't forever," he whispered to himself in the mirror, staring at his strong jawline and high cheekbones, now shadowed by worry. But deep inside, doubt crept in like shadows in a dark room. What if he never made it? What if Blessing was right, that money wasn't everything? One rainy night, John sat alone in a tiny apartment, rain tapping on the window like fingers knocking on his heart. He thought about Blessing, her warm brown eyes and soft smile. A pang hit his chest, regret. "No," he pushed it away. "She held me back," he muttered. But in his dreams that night, he saw her face, laughing with someone else, happy without him. He woke up sweating, his heart racing. Was success worth losing her? The question lingered like a ghost, making him toss and turn. Then, luck struck like lightning. John met Mr. Thompson at a coffee shop. Mr. Thompson was a big businessman, old and wise, with a company that built fancy hotels. John fixed his car once, and they talked. "You got fire in you, kid," Mr. Thompson said, clapping John's shoulder. Soon, John was working for him, learning the ropes of deals and money. Connections opened doors John never knew existed. He shook hands with rich people, wore sharp suits, charcoal grey ones that made him look powerful. His body filled out a bit, muscles from gym time he could now afford. Success came fast. John closed his first big deal, selling land for a huge hotel. Money poured in like a river. He bought a shiny car, a big house with marble floors. Friends who once mocked him now clapped him on the back. "John, you're a star," they said. But inside, a storm brewed. Pride swelled in his chest like a balloon, but arrogance twisted it. He looked down on others, just like they had done to him. "See, I was right to leave her," he told himself, but his voice shook a little. One day, at a fancy party, John met Elena. She was wealthy, from a family of bankers, with long golden hair and sharp blue eyes. She wore red dresses that turned heads, and her laugh echoed like music. "You're ambitious," she said, sipping champagne. John smiled, his short beard neatly trimmed. They dated quickly, dinners in tall buildings, trips to beaches. Elena's world was glitter and gold. "Marry me," John proposed one night under stars, kneeling with a diamond ring that cost more than his old life. But as wedding plans grew, conflict simmered. Elena wanted everything perfect: white flowers, a huge hall, guests from everywhere. John agreed, but his mind wandered. In quiet moments, he stared at old photos on his phone, him and Blessing smiling. "Why am I thinking of her?" he wondered. A voice in his head whispered, "Because you know what real love felt like." He shook it off, focusing on the lavish invites, the cake taller than a child. Suspense built as the wedding neared. John heard whispers, friends saying Blessing had vanished, maybe struggled alone. A wicked idea sparked. "What if I invite her?" he thought, smirking. He imagined her showing up in old clothes, poor and sad, while he stood proud with Elena. It would prove he upgraded, right? But deep down, fear nipped at him. What if she was happy? What if she shone brighter? One evening, alone in his office, John paced. His athletic frame tensed, hands clenching. "No, she'll be nothing," he said aloud. But a dream haunted him again, Blessing walking in, radiant, with secrets he didn't know. He woke gasping, heart pounding. Was this arrogance blinding him? The question hung like a cliffhanger, pulling at his soul. As invites went out, John felt a rush. Pride masked the emptiness inside. He practiced his vows, but Elena noticed his distant eyes. "What's wrong?" she asked. "Nothing," he lied, hugging her. Yet, the conflict raged, success felt hollow without true peace. Friends praised him, but he wondered, is this upgrade real, or just a shiny cage? The wedding day loomed, full of promise and hidden storms. John stood tall, 6 feet of confidence, but cracks showed. Arrogance pushed him forward, but subconscious whispers warned of twist ahead. What would happen when past and present collided? The air thickened with suspense, leaving hearts racing for more. Across town in a cozy little apartment, Blessing was sorting through her mail. She looked elegant in her simple way, her deep ebony skin smooth like polished wood, her large round eyes sparkling with quiet strength. Her soft full lips curved into a small smile as she hummed a tune. Her hair was in its usual neat braided bun, shoulder length if let down, and she wore a navy blue dress that fit just right around her waist, with a light grey shawl for the chill and black flats that were comfy for walking. Life had been hard after John left, but she'd built something real, a small business selling handmade crafts, and best of all, her 3 little miracles, the triplets, who were now giggling in the next room. The envelope caught her eye, thick paper, gold shine. "A wedding invitation," she whispered, her heart skipping like a stone on water. She opened it, and there it was, John's name, big and bold, marrying Sophia. Date, time, place, a grand hall downtown. Blessing's hands shook. Memories flooded back like a storm, John's mocking words, "You're holding me back." The nights she cried alone, wondering why love hurt so much. Why invite her now? To rub it in. To laugh at her pain. She sat down, tears stinging her eyes. But wait, was there anger bubbling up? Or something stronger, like fire in her belly? Blessing thought about her kids, how they'd grown without a dad like John. "He's probably expecting me to show up looking broken," she muttered. A funny image flashed, her walking in like a queen, while John tripped over his own feet in shock. She giggled through the tears. But deeper, in that quiet part of her mind where dreams hide, she wondered, what if going there changed everything? What if it showed the world, and herself, that pain could turn into power? The triplets ran in, 2 boys with short cornrows and a girl with braids and beads, all 5 years old with bright smiles and warm brown eyes just like hers. "Mommy, what's wrong?" the girl asked, hugging her leg. Blessing wiped her face. "Nothing, sweetie. Just an old friend inviting me to a party." But inside, conflict raged like a tug of war. Go and face the past. Or stay safe. It felt addictive, this pull, like a mystery book you can't put down. What would happen if she went? Would John regret everything? That night, Blessing tossed in bed, her mind racing. John's face haunted her thoughts, but so did a vision of herself, stronger than ever. Little did she know, the tables were about to turn in ways no one expected. The invitation sat on her table like a ticking bomb, waiting to explode. John, back in his office, sealed more invites with a smirk. "This wedding's gonna be unforgettable," he said to himself. But a tiny voice in his head whispered, "Be careful what you wish for." He shook it off, but the suspense hung in the air like fog. What if Blessing wasn't the same woman he remembered? What if his bad plan backfired spectacularly? As the days ticked by, the city buzzed with wedding talk. Friends joked with John, "You're inviting your ex? That's bold." He laughed, but his stomach twisted funny. Blessing stared at the card every day, her heart pounding. Go or not? The choice felt huge, like deciding to jump off a cliff into unknown waters. Deep down, it tapped into that secret fear we all have. What if the person who hurt us sees us shine brighter without them? The wedding day loomed closer, full of secrets and surprises. Would Blessing crumble, or rise like a phoenix? John's arrogance blinded him, but fate had a sense of humor. One thing was sure, this invitation wasn't just paper, it was a spark ready to ignite a firestorm of emotions. The wedding day arrived like a storm cloud bursting with lightning. The grand hall downtown sparkled like a fairy tale castle, chandeliers dripping with crystals, tables covered in white silk, and flowers in every color of the rainbow. Guests in shiny dresses and suits buzzed like bees, chatting about John's big success. John stood at the front, tall and proud at 6 feet, his medium brown skin glowing under the lights. His dark brown almond-shaped eyes scanned the crowd with a smug glint, his strong jawline set like stone, high cheekbones sharp as knives, and that short beard trimmed perfect. A few grey strands hid in his sleek, short black fade, but he didn't care. He wore a luxurious black tuxedo that hugged his athletic, slightly bulkier body, with a crisp white shirt, silver bow tie, and a white pocket square peeking out like a secret. "This is my day," he thought, heart pounding with excitement. His new bride, Sophia, waited behind the curtain, her rich family's money making everything perfect. But deep down, a tiny knot twisted in his stomach. Where was Blessing? Would she even show? John's friends clapped him on the back, joking, "Man, you're upgrading big time. That ex of yours better not crash the party." He laughed, but it came out fake, like a robot's chuckle. In his mind, he pictured Blessing slinking in late, her deep ebony skin dull from hard times, her warm brown round eyes downcast, soft full lips pressed in. Her dark brown hair in that plain braided bun, her curvy average body hidden in a shabby navy dress with a grey shawl, black flat scuffing the floor. At 5 feet 6 inches, she'd look small next to Sophia's glamour. She'll sit in the back, whispering excuses, John imagined, his arrogance swelling like a balloon. It was his revenge for the years he felt poor because of her. But subconscious whispers nagged, what if she didn't come? Or worse, what if she did, and something felt off? The music swelled, a fancy band playing upbeat tunes. Guests settled, the air thick with perfume and suspense. John straightened his tie, sweat beading on his brow. Any minute now, he muttered to his best man. The doors creaked open, and heads turned. But it was just latecomers. John's pulse raced faster. Conflict brewed inside him, part thrill, part fear. Why did this matter so much? Was it really about her, or about proving he was better? Thought-provoking stuff, like those dreams where the loser wins. Across the street, Blessing stepped out of a shiny black Rolls Royce that gleamed like a black diamond under the sun. Her heart hammered like a drum in a rock concert. At 36, she looked like a queen reborn, deep ebony skin radiant, warm brown eyes large and fierce with round determination, soft full lips curved in a secret smile, high cheekbones lifted high. Her dark brown hair, medium length if loose, was twisted into an elegant slick updo with intricate braids sparkling with subtle gold accessories. The stunning emerald green floor-length gown hugged her curvy average build perfectly, gold embroidery dancing like fireflies, gold heels clicking with power. Minimal gold jewelry, earrings and a necklace added just enough shine. At 5 feet 6 inches, she stood tall, posture graceful like a dancer. No more weary woman, this was fire from ashes. But oh, the emotions crashing inside. Memories of John's cruel words flooded back, "You're nothing without money." Tears threatened, but she pushed them down. Her triplets, her 3 little stars, 5 years old with deep ebony skin, warm brown round eyes, soft round faces, high cheekbones, and bright smiles, waited in the car. The boys, in matching navy blue suits with white shirts and red bow ties, had short knit cornrows. The girl, in a vibrant yellow dress with a white sash and yellow ribbons, her medium braids swinging with colorful beads, all about 3 feet 6 inches tall and full of giggles. "Mommy, you look like a princess," the girl had said earlier. Blessing smiled, but conflict tore at her, show up and risk heartbreak, or hide forever. This was addictive, the pull to face the dragon, to tap that deep subconscious urge for payback without sinking low. The driver nodded. "Ready, Mom." Blessing took a breath. "Let's go." The door opened, and she stepped out, the triplets following like ducklings. Heads turned on the street, whispers rippled. Inside the hall, John was mid-vow rehearsal when the big doors swung wide. Suspense hung like fog. Guest gasped first, a low "oh" that built like thunder. Blessing walked in, slow and steady, her gown swishing like waves. The triplets held her hands, their tiny suits and dress making them look like mini celebrities. Every eye locked on her. "Who is that?" someone whispered. John's face froze, his smug smile cracking like ice. His dark eyes widened in shock. This wasn't the broken Blessing he plotted against. She glowed, elegant and unstoppable, the kids turning heads with their charm. One boy tripped a bit on the carpet, but Blessing caught him with a laugh, turning it into grace. The crowd chuckled, but John's laugh died in his throat. Emotion exploded, John's pride shattered like glass. "Impossible," he thought, cheeks burning. Guest murmured, "Is that John's ex? She looks richer than the bride." Conflict peaked, his plan backfired, twisting his arrogance into shame. Blessing met his gaze, her eyes saying, "See what you missed." No words, just power. Subconsciously, it hit everyone, the underdog rising, the bully humbled. Sophia peeked out, confused. Blessing led her kids to a front seat, sitting like she owned the place. Whispers grew, "John's a fool, he let that diamond go." John's hands shook, he wanted to yell, but swallowed it. Heart-pounding suspense, what now? Would he confront her? The air crackled with unspoken battles. As the ceremony started, Blessing's mind raced, victory tasted sweet, but was it enough? The triplets waved at strangers, innocent joy cutting the tension. John stumbled on his vows, voice cracking. Laughter bubbled from the back, not mean, but real. Fate's humor, the mighty fell with a giggle. This entrance wasn't just steps, it was an earthquake, shaking souls. The laughter echoed through the grand hall like ripples in a pond, growing louder with each awkward pause in John's vows. He stood there, frozen like a statue, his 6-foot athletic frame suddenly feeling small under the bright chandeliers. His medium brown skin flushed hot, dark brown almond-shaped eyes darting wildly as if searching for an escape. That strong jawline clenched tight, high cheekbones burning red, and his short beard couldn't hide the quiver in his lips. A few grey strands in his sleek black fade seemed to multiply in the stress, and his luxurious black tuxedo, with its white shirt, silver bow tie, and pocket square, now felt like a costume for a fool. I promise to, oh. John stammered again, voice cracking like thunder in a quiet room. The priest raised an eyebrow, and Sophia, his bride-to-be, shifted uncomfortably in her sparkling white gown, her rich family's guests whispering behind fans. John's mind raced like a runaway train. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. He'd planned every detail, the fancy food, the live band, the gold invitations, all to show off his success. But now, Blessing's entrance had flipped the script. There she sat in the front row, radiant like a sunrise, her deep ebony skin glowing with confidence. At 36, her warm brown round eyes sparkled with quiet power, soft full lips in a calm smile, her cheekbones lifted like wings. Her dark brown hair in the elegant updo with gold braids caught the light, and her emerald green gown with gold embroidery hugged her curvy average build perfectly, gold heels peeking out. At 5 feet 6 inches, she looked taller than ever, posture graceful as a swan. Guests murmured like a hive of bees. "Did you see her arrive in that Rolls Royce?" one woman hissed to her friend. "John dumped her for this. He lost a diamond chasing shiny rocks." Laughter bubbled again, not mean-spirited, but real, the kind that hits when irony slaps you in the face. John's best man patted his back, whispering, "Pull it together, man." But John couldn't. Conflict exploded inside him, pride versus shame, like two wrestlers in a ring. Subconsciously, old regrets clawed up, nights he mocked Blessing, calling her poor, ignoring her love. "What have I done?" a voice whispered in his head, tapping that deep fear we all hide. What if our biggest mistake stares back at us? Blessing watched it all, her heart a storm of emotions. Suspense built as she wondered, would John lash out? Or break? She stroked her daughter's braids, feeling the addictive pull of this moment, like a page-turner book where the hero finally shines. Her triplets giggled at the funny faces in the crowd, easing her tension. But deep down, a powerful wave rose, not revenge, but release. The priest cleared his throat. "Shall we continue?" John nodded weakly, forcing the words out, "I promise to love and cherish." But his voice wobbled, and more whispers spread. Sophia glanced at Blessing, her perfect makeup hiding a flicker of doubt. Was this wedding doomed? John's friends, once teasing him about upgrading, now shot him pitying looks. One even muttered, "Dude, you messed up big time." The band played softly in the background, but the music felt off-key, like a joke gone wrong. John's pride crumbled like a sandcastle under waves. He stole glances at Blessing, seeing her happier, stronger, a woman who'd built a life from ruins. Her business thriving, her kids thriving, no bitterness in her smile. It hit him like a punch, his plan to humiliate her had backfired spectacularly. Instead of her in rags, he was the one exposed, raw and ridiculous. Emotionally, it tore at him, tears pricked his eyes, but he blinked them away. Why does this hurt so much, he wondered. Subconscious echoes, because you know she's the real winner. Guest leaned in, hooked on the drummer. Would he finish the vows? Or call it off? As the vows wrapped up shakily, toast began. John's uncle raised a glass, "To John and Sophia, may you find what you've been chasing." Laughter erupted again, this time with an edge. John forced a smile, but inside, regret boiled. Blessing sipped her drink, serene. The conflict wasn't over, it simmered like a pot about to overflow. The night dragged on, full of hidden battles. John's shame echoed in every cheer, every dance. But for Blessing, it was closure, a reminder that rising from pain makes you unbreakable. As guests mingled, whispers grew, John's story. A warning tale. Fate chuckled in the shadows, the real lesson just unfolding. What would John do next? The wedding hall buzzed like a beehive after the vows, but the air felt heavy, like a storm about to break. Guests clinked glasses during toast, but their eyes kept darting to Blessing and her triplets. John stood by Sophia, his new wife, trying to smile for photos. At 38, his medium brown skin looked pale under the lights, dark brown almond-shaped eyes shadowed with regret. His strong jawline sagged a bit, high cheekbones still red from earlier shame, and that short beard hid a frown. Cheers to the happy couple, someone shouted, but John heard the undertone, mockery aimed at him. Inside, John's mind was a battlefield. Conflict raged like fire and ice, pride screaming to ignore Blessing, but shame whispering truths he couldn't escape. Subconsciously, memories flooded back, lazy Sundays with Blessing before money poisoned everything, her laughter like music he now missed. Why did I chase wealth over love, he thought, heart pounding. John's hands shook as he raised his glass. Sophia noticed, squeezing his arm. What's wrong? She whispered. He forced a grin. Nothing. But everything was wrong. His plan had exploded like a balloon popped by a pin. Blessing sat gracefully at her table, watching it all like a queen on a throne. But Blessing's heart raced with suspense. Would John approach her? Apologize? Or lash out? Emotion swelled powerfully, old hurt bubbling up, but new strength pushing it down. Mommy, can we dance? One boy asked, tugging her sleeve. She nodded, but her eyes locked on John across the room. In that moment, a subconscious voice echoed, "You've risen from ashes, let him see the phoenix." It was engaging, this silent standoff, like a chess game where moves are made with glances. Suddenly, John broke away from the crowd, weaving through guests like a man on a mission. Whispers followed, "Is he going to her?" Hearts hooked, everyone leaned in. He stopped at Blessing's table, throat dry. "Blessing, can we talk?" His voice cracked again, low and shaky. She stood slowly, posture graceful, meeting his gaze. The triplets watched wide-eyed, sensing the big moment. Outside in the hallway, away from prying eyes, the real conflict erupted. I'm sorry," John stammered, eyes misty. "I was a fool. Mocking you, leaving you, it was wrong. Seeing you now, with the kids, our kids." He paused, shock hitting like lightning. Blessing nodded calmly. "Triplets, John. Yours. But you left before knowing." Emotion crashed over him, joy mixed with gut-wrenching regret. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered. She sighed. "You didn't care then. You chased stones, lost the diamond." John's knees weakened. "Can I be part of their lives?" Suspense peaked, would she forgive? Blessing's eyes softened, but her voice stayed firm. "That's up to them, and time. But today, I came to close the door, not reopen it." Powerful moment, she wasn't bitter, just free. He nodded, tears falling. "I get it. Lesson learned, the hard way." Back in the hall, Blessing gathered her triplets. "Time to go, loves." Guests parted like the sea as she walked out, head high, Rolls Royce waiting. John watched from the door, heart aching. Sophia joined him, confused but kind. Who was she? He sighed. "The one I let go." As Blessing drove away, city lights blurring, peace settled. Her story echoed, life turns tables without warning. John's became a warning, abandoned love for greed, and regret bites like a snake. Years later, whispers of that wedding spread like wildfire. John changed, seeking real connections. Blessing thrived, her family unbreakable. Fate's humor, pain bites wisdom. And so, the lesson echoed on, reminding all, be kind in hard times, or face the storm.